Welcome, everyone. I'm Molly Fogarty. I'm the library director, and I'm so thrilled to see so many of you here. We're really, really excited. It was just about a year ago that the Springfield Library Foundation announced their capital campaign, and we're all here today to celebrate a very important milestone in the campaign and to also celebrate the extraordinary generosity of the Chicopee Savings Charitable Foundation and its president, William Wagner. So I will hand this over to our wonderful mayor, who needs no introduction, and has, from the beginning, been extremely supportive of this project, and we wouldn't be here without him today. So.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
First of all, Bill Wagner, used the old commercial that we speak your language. Bill, you speak our language, and we deeply appreciate that. He has been such a steadfast when it comes to a community partner here in the city of Springfield and the surrounding areas. I want to thank the library board of directors. I know my chair, Steve Carey's here wearing a second hat with Focus Springfield, and he could run like the wind when we played soccer together as a halfback. And to Molly, to Barbara Garvey, who has been very, very instrumental, and to my friend, Mayor Charlie Ryan. Charlie, too, unfortunately he's a little bit under the weather, and I call him the godfather of libraries. And I do think he was around when Andrew Carnegie was around, too, making that. So I wanted to give Charlie a big shout-out, and Attorney Pat Markey, our former city solicitor, who has taken over and done a great job as a chairman, and Beth Hogan, East Forest Park Civic Association. You know, this has been talked about for years, and it's finally come to fruition. And Bill Wagner and I got together maybe about a month or so ago. We had coffee and going over old times, some of the initiatives that he's doing through the Chicopee Savings Foundation, through Westfield Bank. We're very appreciative of Westfield Bank. And he's a guy, when he said, we're going to do something with the libraries, the importance of that. And he had mentioned a number, and he says, you know what, Tom? He says, I might be able to do a little bit more, too. And very generous with $100,000 being put forth. I believe, and I think Attorney Markey will speak about it, Chairman Markey, we're about halfway there. On the mark of the promise realized, and we're going to be doing a groundbreak. And Matt has done a great job helping us on fundraising. Matt, I want to thank you. I think we have a groundbreaking going on sometime in middle of October, too.
October 15th, 10 a.m.
On that.
10:30.
So when you look upon what is going on in East Forest Park, again, that was hit with that devastating EF3 tornado back in 2011. The resiliency of that community and the residents kept us going 24/7. But you look at the rebuild that has occurred. First of all, the residential area. People love their neighborhood, love their area. And they sit down, we're not going anywhere. We're staying, and we're going to rebuild bigger, better, and stronger. Dryden School rebuilt. Pope Francis High School is now open there. And they have this East Forest Park Library adjacent to that area, Dryden School, Pope Francis, Surrey Road. It just makes for a wonderful community that people can continue to be proud of and raise their families. And the last thing I'll say with Molly and the library staff, libraries have diversified. You know, you want workforce development, educational development, reading development, the community meetings you do, the election forums you do. So it's diversified. So I'm still the old school where I grew up at Forest Park Library, and, you know, being in the books and, you know, unable really to go much places. My dad always working. My mom, God rest her soul, you know, didn't drive. But opening up the books got you to the Great Wall of China. So now we still have the books, but they have the computers going on. But so libraries are extremely important. I think we're the envy of cities our size, if not larger or smaller, for all of the neighborhood libraries that we have. And so I'm looking very, very forward to it. But today's the day that we thank Bill Wagner. He is legendary in his philanthropic efforts through the old Chicopee Savings and now through Westfield Bank and the Chicopee Savings Foundation. So corporate citizens out there, again, no donation is too large or too small. The average person can make a donation to this campaign. But when we asked, without question, Bill Wagner stepped up to the plate again. So put your hands together for the president of the Chicopee Savings Foundation philanthropic arm, President Bill Wagner, who speaks our language.
I'm not sure I'm legendary, but I'd like to thank the Board of Directors of Chicopee Savings Bank, who originally funded the Chicopee Savings Bank Foundation when we did the conversion of the bank to a public corporation, with a $5.5 million gift, which has grown, well, not exponentially, but close to it. So we've given away since that day, several $million. I think it's $4 million, and the gift was for $5.5 million, and we still have like $8.5 million left because the value of the stock that funded the foundation has grown, and when we did the deal with Westfield Bank, the merger with Westfield Bank, it grew by a very quick $2.2 million. And we're making sure, our board of directors of the foundation, that this money goes back to the community. And Chicopee Savings Bank, as Westfield Savings Bank, has had a long history of being very generous in its community. And the number is over $10 million since the year 2000. Yeah. And we're not that big, so that's pretty generous giving on our part, and it's fun being Santa Claus. It's part of our stick, though, is we like to fund things that affect the elderly. We like to fund things that affect children and their ability to maybe surpass expectations that they might encounter in their environment because of whatever's going on at home. So that, libraries are an important part of that because, my kids always had a PC. I know there's a lot of kids that don't have a PC and they need to be in a library to use the internet. So we think the libraries, and because I love a good book, and I read books myself, and I have a library in my own house, I have an affinity for libraries. And, I was telling my good friend Cy Becker, welcome back to the movies, Cy, that, I've often reflected, I used to, when I was in college, I used to always go to the Springfield Library and find a quiet corner and study on my way to school, and sometimes on my way back, and I always loved the peace and tranquility of the quadrangle. But that says a lot about the generations that preceded us and what their values, their core values were. To have the foresight to create such a facility in the heart of Springfield. Frankly, you could easily justify that it's beyond most cities that size to have such a facility. So when we were active with the West Springfield Library and Chicopee Library, it kind of sharpened my view on it because I understood that it's important for each generation to do something special for the next. So if Chicopee Savings Bank Foundation can influence a few libraries in our marketplace and how they're going to be able to deliver services to the public, we want to participate in that. And when Charlie and Matt came for the first ask, I knew right away we would give, but I just didn't tell them. And I was very pleased that the board saw to give such a generous gift. And so you should also thank the board of directors of the Chicopee Savings Bank Foundation. It's not just Bill Wagner. And you also have to thank Terry, because Gita will tell you that Terry's the one who carries the foundation, takes care of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
The chairman of the Library Foundation, put your hands together for Attorney Pat Markey.
Nobody wants to listen to speeches. I just want to say thank you to the Chicopee Savings Bank Foundation for their generosity. Imagine if more banks, more companies, more corporations, more individuals were as generous and as community-focused as this foundation and this bank, where we would be as a society. So I think it's important to recognize banks and companies and people who give more than they take, and this foundation is an example of an organization that gives more than it takes. And the foresight of the Chicopee Savings Bank Board to create this organization that donated to this very worthy project, just thank you for their foresight and for this really generous gift that's going to make a huge difference. Geez, now I'm turning it into a speech, and I said it wouldn't be a speech. I want to recognize Gita Sajak and Terry Slozik in particular, who carried a lot of the water on this project. And this $100,000 gift gets us up over the halfway mark, significantly over the halfway mark on our way to $2 million. That's what we're looking for, and we're confident that we're going to get it with the example set by this organization. So thank you. We're going to use the money, and we're going to recognize the Chicopee Savings Bank Charitable Foundation by naming the adult reading area after the Chicopee Savings Bank. And here it is. It'll look a lot nicer than this. It'll be embossed, probably stamped in gold. It will be much more permanent than this. So thank you very much for your generosity.
Thank you, Pat.
Before we wrap up and do the wonderful photo opportunities, I also want to recognize Beth Hogan, Phil Caputo from the East Forest Park Civic Association that have been behind this project way from the beginning. Even before it was even thought about, they were thinking about it. So thank you for all your support and all your participation in the site selection for the branch and participation in the design. We had our architect came back several times to the East Forest Park Civic Association meetings and got a lot of input from the community and used that input into the design. So we have the groundbreaking October 15th. It's a Monday at 10:30 a.m. on the grounds of the Mary Dryden School, and we hope you'll all be there. We have a lot of wonderful speakers and fun special events planned. Also, before you leave, please take a look at our board here, which shows the renderings of some of the rooms. And this is the we're calling it the main reading room, maybe not the adult reading, whatever you want to call it. It could be seen otherwise, but anyway, the main reading room, which is where the Chicopee Savings plaque will go. So we're really, really excited about that. And if you have a chance, this library is really being built. It's the construction fence is out there. There's been a lot of excavation already. We think it'll be built. It's supposed to be done by next fall, so we hope you'll all be at the ribbon cutting when we plan a weekend full of events. And so thank you all. And just picture when we're at the new library, the community meeting room is almost the size of this entire branch. So we won't be crowded into this children's room in the back, which the staff have done an amazing job with. And I should recognize the staff as well. Malia, Linda, raise your hands. Maureen, no? Okay. Who have persevered over the years in this small library. Their staff room is an old closet. They're actually getting a real staff room and a staff workroom. So they're very excited about moving to the new library as well. So thank you, everyone. And Nancy Erbschat, you're there. And thank you for all the wonderful work you've been doing on the campaign for us as well.
Helen's also there.
Who's here? Oh, hi, Helen. Come up. I didn't see you. Come up. Okay. see you there. And Helen Carlton Harris, of course. And thank you again all for coming, and feel free to look at our poster and also to go look at the new site, and now we'll do the presentation.